do you know about me?
A new species is being born. No idea what I'd give to feel normal.
Should we have to hide?
We have it in us to be the better men. We already are.
When X-Men First Class hit theaters in 2011, it arrived as a bold and refreshing reinvention of the long-running X-Men film series, taking audiences back to the very origins of the mutant saga. At a time when superhero films were rapidly evolving, this movie chose to explore the past instead of the future, crafting a story that delved deep into how the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants first came to be. It wasn't just another entry in the franchise, it was a cinematic rebirth that blended historical drama, character-driven storytelling, and stylish action with a tone that balanced intelligence and emotion. Set during the turbulent era of the 1960s, the film placed mutants within the real-world context of the Cold War, grounding its fantastical elements with political tension, moral conflict, and a powerful sense of destiny. The story follows two men whose friendship would shape the fate of the mutant world, Charles Xavier and Erik Lehnsherr. Both men are born with extraordinary abilities, yet they walk drastically different paths. Charles, a gifted telepath with a vision of peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans, sees his powers as a responsibility to guide and protect. Erik, on the other hand, shaped by the trauma of his childhood during the Holocaust, views humanity through a lens of pain and distrust. Their connection begins as one of mutual respect and understanding, but as the story unfolds, ideology drives a wedge between them, setting the stage for one of the most compelling rivalries in comic book cinema. The heart of the film lies in the bond between these two men-friends, allies, and eventually adversaries whose philosophies define the eternal struggle between hope and vengeance. The film opens with a haunting sequence set during World War II, where a young Erik experiences unimaginable loss at the hands of Nazi scientists who seek to exploit his power. This trauma ignites the fire of rage that will define his life. Meanwhile, young Charles lives a life of privilege and discovery, learning to embrace his telepathic gifts while forming a unique friendship with a shape-shifting girl named Raven. The film expertly weaves these parallel beginnings into a larger narrative that culminates in the formation of the first generation of mutants, who would later become legends. As adults, Charles and Erik meet during the rise of nuclear tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union, and together, they recruit a team of young mutants to prevent global catastrophe. Yet even as they unite to face a common enemy, philosophical cracks begin to show, hinting at the inevitable divide that will come to define their destinies. What sets X-Men First Class apart is its blending of real historical events with comic book mythology. The Cuban Missile Crisis becomes the backdrop for a showdown between mutants and mankind, with the world's fate hanging in the balance. It's a clever narrative device that gives the film a sense of authenticity and urgency. The characters are not just fighting for survival, they're fighting for ideology, for acceptance, for identity. Each member of the fledgling X-Men team brings a distinct perspective, from the ambitious and curious Hank McCoy to the free-spirited Angel and the rebellious Alex Summers. Their struggles mirror those of their mentors, reflecting the timeless theme of what it means to be different in a world that fears change. The film's antagonist, Sebastian Shaw, represents a different breed of villain, one who embodies both charisma and cruelty. His manipulation of nuclear politics and his belief in mutant superiority make him a chilling counterpoint to both Charles and Erik. Shaw's ideology, rooted in the same evolutionary dominance that Magneto would later adopt, acts as the spark that pushes Erik further down the path of vengeance. The film's climactic confrontation between Erik and Shaw not only delivers thrilling action, but also emotional weight, as Erik's revenge marks the birth of Magneto and the fall of his friendship with Charles. Their final moments together are tragic and poignant, showing that the greatest battles are not fought with power, but with ideology. Visually, X-Men First Class captures the spirit of its era with style and sophistication. The costumes, production design, and color palette evoke the sleek elegance of 1960s espionage cinema. From secret government facilities to exotic international locales, every scene feels like a blend of superhero adventure and Cold War thriller. The film's tone manages to be both grounded and grand, mixing quiet, emotional moments with large-scale spectacle. The use of practical effects and grounded action choreography adds a sense of realism that complements the mutant powers on display. Whether it's the telekinetic chaos unleashed by Magneto or the graceful telepathy of Xavier, the film ensures that every ability feels integral to the story, not just a visual gimmick. Another standout aspect is the emotional depth of its characters. Raven's journey, for instance, is one of identity and acceptance. Her internal conflict between appearing human and embracing her natural blue form reflects the central theme of the film's self-acceptance in the face of judgment. Her connection to both Charles and Erik represents the tug-of-war between conformity and rebellion. Hank's story mirrors this struggle as he hides his true self while seeking a way to cure his mutation, only to realize that denying who he is leads to pain and isolation. Through these personal stories, the film explores the broader metaphor of discrimination and identity that has always been at the heart of the X-Men mythology. The performances elevate the material to new heights. James McAvoy brings warmth, intelligence, and idealism to Charles Xavier, portraying a man driven by empathy and moral conviction. Michael Fassbender's Erik Lehnsherr is intense, magnetic, and deeply human, channeling both rage and vulnerability with precision. Their chemistry is electric, creating a dynamic that feels both brotherly and tragic. Jennifer Lawrence gives Raven depth and emotional complexity, while Kevin Bacon delivers a sinister yet sophisticated performance as Shaw. The ensemble cast of young mutants adds energy and freshness, each contributing to the sense of a new generation discovering its place in the world. The film's pacing strikes a balance between introspective character moments and thrilling action sequences. The training scenes, where the young mutants learn to harness their powers, provide both humor and heart. They remind the audience that before they became heroes or villains, these characters were simply young people trying to understand themselves. The finale, set amidst the tension of the Cuban blockade, delivers one of the most gripping climaxes in the franchise, combining emotional confrontation with geopolitical stakes. The moment when Erik turns the missiles back on the human fleets encapsulates his transformation, while Charles' desperate attempt to stop him signifies the beginning of the ideological war that would define their future. What truly makes X-Men First Class resonate is its sense of purpose. It's not just a superhero origin story, it's a story about belief, compassion, and fear. It's about how trauma shapes identity, how ideals clash, and how friendships are forged and broken by conviction. The film restores the philosophical heart of the X-Men saga, reminding audiences that beneath the powers and battles lies a deeper story about humanity's struggle with difference. Its emotional complexity and historical backdrop make it one of the most mature and thought-provoking entries in the genre. In the broader context of the X-Men series, this film serves as both a prequel and a reinvention. It redefines characters audiences thought they already knew, showing their younger, more vulnerable selves. It also sets the stage for the future conflicts that will shape the mutant world. By blending character-driven storytelling with historical intrigue and a fresh sense of style, The film reinvigorated the franchise and earned critical acclaim for its intelligence and emotional resonance. It demonstrated that superhero films could be more than just action spectacles. They could be rich, layered narratives about power, choice, and identity. X-Men First Class stands as a testament to how a prequel can breathe new life into a beloved franchise. It doesn't rely solely on nostalgia or spectacle, but instead builds a story rooted in character and theme. The friendship between Charles and Erik, the moral grayness of their world, and the emotional journeys of the supporting characters all contribute to a story that feels both intimate and epic. It's a film that understands that heroes and villains are not born. They're shaped by the choices they make and the pain they endure. Every scene, every line, every conflict echoes this truth, creating a film that resonates long after the credits roll. In the end, the movie captures the essence of what makes the X-Men universe timeless, the idea that difference is not a curse, but a gift. It's a story of hope, loss, and transformation, where ideals collide and friendships crumble, yet the dream of unity endures. With its powerful performances, smart writing, and stylish direction, X-Men First Class not only redefined the origins of the Mutant Saga, but also set a new standard for superhero storytelling. It reminded audiences that, even in a world divided by fear and prejudice, there will always be those who fight to bridge the gap, to believe in understanding over hatred, and to stand together in the face of division.